Okay, so I'd like to make a point that the fire alarm went off in my hotel, and as somebody in a wheelchair, they closed the elevators and I could not go down the elevator. So, luckily my caregiver's here and she could hold on to me so that I could walk down 3 flights of stairs to the ground floor and then go outside, and now she has gone upstairs to get my wheelchair and hopefully they'll open the elevators. The point being, if my caregiver hadn't have been here, I'm not sure if I would have been able to come down. And as somebody who's ambulatory, I'm really blessed that I can still walk. But somebody else who is not, who's in a wheelchair, would still be on the 3rd floor, even with the fire alarm going off. So, here's my doggy. He and I have done this many times in the past when I was having more partial seizures, and I'm not anymore, which is amazing. It's been a lot of years since we had to do this. But this is what we used to do after I had a seizure, and I would just wait it out until I could think again. So my caregiver went upstairs, so Danny's on me, so we can just wait it out till she comes back. Hi, sweetie, I'm okay. I'm good. Okay? I'm okay. And luckily I managed to grab my glucose meter and my phone. Hey, stay. And my mask and Danny and his leash. So I just think it's really, really upsetting because as somebody who knows that if you are not ambulatory, you would be stuck up there, and I've thought of that many times. I'm on the 1st floor in my apartment complex, so I'm very lucky, but there's no elevators there at all. So nobody's gonna be upstairs who isn't ambulatory. But here, the accessible rooms are on the 2nd and 3rd floor. So, the wheelchair accessible rooms. So, they do not, I haven't been anywhere where they take into consideration that if you're alone and you're in a wheelchair, you're screwed. So, and that there's no plan of how to help people who are in a wheelchair. I had my electric wheelchair, my power chair, luckily, and I could take it, but then like I said, they'd already closed the elevators. Now if there was a fire, they have now said that we can go back inside because everything's okay. But if there was actually a fire, probably I would rather risk going down an elevator in my wheelchair than staying up on the 3rd floor when there's a fire. So they actually closed them and I couldn't use it. And I'm lucky to have a power chair. If it wasn't working or anything, I cannot push myself in a manual chair, which I do have, so I could possibly ask somebody else to push me. But basically, it needs to be set up so that people who are disabled have a safety net so they can get out in an emergency. And like I said, my caregiver, she's hopefully going to get my wheelchair, ride down the elevator, and come over here so I can ride it back up, which will be very good. If not, it's going to really suck to try to walk up 3 flights of stairs when I'm dizzy and already don't have enough blood. So, my neck brace alone is just because I have collagen disorder and I had a headache from, so anyway, my neck is not whatever. It's messed up. So anyway, that's why I have that on. I already had it on. But like I said, I was lucky I could grab my glucose meter. I didn't bring anything if my blood sugar crashes, so that wasn't good. But, you know, in those moments, sometimes it's hard to think of everything. Anyway, also it's important I have all my emergency information plugged in my phone so that somebody could get it out, because I have a lot of things like my epilepsy that would be really bad if I was in an emergency and there was no knowledge of my situation. It's okay, sweetie, we're going in just a minute. So now I'm wet because it's raining and I had to sit down. We went outside, and Danny, as you can imagine, is freaked out because the alarm was going off for 10 minutes or whatever, and it was so loud. And it's scary, you know, for him and stuff. I didn't think it was probably an actual fire. So I was really not happy that we had to do this. But like I said, I think it's a good thing to show people what really happens. And that I have been in an actual fire where I lived in an apartment complex, and there were people almost not getting out in the building next to me and screaming and everything, and I was able to run. So here she is. Yay!